Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Mind the Mental Monday. Um, I am Reverend Benita Weathers, and I'm happy to be here. And just as a reminder for some of you that might be joining, who might be new, tuning into Mind the Mental Monday. I do this every week just to talk about the importance of taking care of our mental health on a daily basis and being proactive about our mental health. And so, for those of you that will be joining tonight, welcome to Mind the Mental Monday. I hope that everyone is having a beautiful day. Thank you, Kayla. My baby girl is tuned in. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. And just as we always do on a weekly basis, I want you to put in the chat where you're tuning in from. Um, and let's think about, I always talk about the importance of sort of measuring where you are mentally uh, on a daily basis. So where are you mentally on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being I'm doing terrible and 10 like I'm doing great? Where do you fall on that scale? Um, and if you're not where you want to be, how do you feel about where you are on the scale? Are you okay with where you are, or would you like to be higher up? And what will it take for you to get there, for you to get to the place where you want to be? So think about that. That's something that we talk about on a weekly basis, is taking care. A part of taking care of our mental health is checking in with ourselves. And many of us, especially those strong people, I always talk about checking in on your strong people, right? Because the strong people are always checking in on you. Um, but if you're the strong person, check in on yourself. And if you know somebody that's the strong person, check in on them, check to see how they're doing, okay? All right. So we're going to get started with tonight's topic in just a little bit. And I have a hard stop tonight because I'm going to be doing a presentation with some wonderful women of God. So I'm going to have to hop off of here and hop on there to talk to them. So I'm not going to be before you long tonight. And I am a Baptist preacher, and I know that when we say that, very often we're not really telling the truth, because that's when we usually end up being before you the longest. But I'm going to try to hold to that because I have to get to the other engagement. But Mind the Mental Monday is important to me, and so I'm glad to be back. The last 2 Mondays I was out. 2 Mondays ago was Labor Day. Last Monday was my husband's birthday, so we had to go out, celebrate him. And so now I'm back tonight. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in to tonight's topic. And tonight's topic is, who do you think you are? And sometimes back in the day, I don't know if this question is as asked very often anymore, but I know that, in the past, you might be in maybe even sort of an altercation with somebody who views themselves as maybe superior to you, but then you check them. And as you're checking them, because they think that they're superior to you, they ask this question: who do you think you are? Like, in other words, who do you think you are to talk to me like that, right? So I want to ask us to ask ourselves, because I'm in this with you, ask ourselves this question: who do you think you are? And I think that sometimes we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves that question: who do you think you are? Because I think that who we think we are very often comes from maybe what somebody told us in the past, maybe what somebody told us in our childhood growing up. Maybe we heard various types of sentiments, and they don't have to be negative sentiments. They could be sentiments that are good or bad, but you sort of grow up with believing what you have heard people say about you and who you are. And sometimes we don't take the opportunity to define for ourselves who we are. We base who we think we are based on what everybody else thinks. And many episodes ago, we talked about what lens you're looking through, right? We talked about the different lenses through which we see ourselves. And too often we are constantly looking at ourselves through somebody else's lens rather than looking at ourselves through the lens of our creator, who said that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, who said that we are made in the image of our creator, who says that everything he created was good, and that includes us. And so rather than looking through the lens of the one who created us, we look through the lens of the person who really is jealous of us, who wants to be like us, but because they see something in us that they feel like is unattainable to them, they then have to try to put us down, right? And so there are many lenses through which we view ourselves and how we think about ourselves. There's an old adage that says, or proverb or something, some such, that says you are what you eat, right? And so in that case, it's, if you ingest junk, then your body is going to feel like junk. But if you ingest whole, healthy meals that are good for you, you're going to feel much better, right? You'll have energy and you'll have presence of mind, and your thoughts, you'll be able to think faster and all those types of things. Well, we are also what we think, right? Because scripture tells us that as we think, right, so are we. And so that means that if we think of ourselves in a negative light, if we think we're not smart, if we think we're not beautiful, if we think that we are unable to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish, if we think that we're not good enough, that we're less than, that we're not enough, then that is what we will be. Not only is that what we will be, but that is what we will exude. That is what we will show to those around us. And so there's a time where we must be intentional about how we think of ourselves. There must be a time where we are intentional that if we are having, if we are constantly having negative thoughts about ourselves, if we're constantly putting our own selves down, where we have to be intentional to change the language that we use toward ourselves to a positive language. So that might involve creating affirmations for yourself. I happen to know of a really good journal that's going to be coming out, and I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait to be able to announce it and share it with you, because I know the author personally, and I'm not going to give it away what it is and who it is and none of that, but it's coming out. It's going to be great, and it is perfect for this exercise of who you think you are, how you think of yourself. And I'm going to have the author of that journal on Mind the Mental Monday when that special thing comes out. So just be on the lookout. All right. Um, so a couple things that I want to talk about tonight, or want us to think about in terms of this question of who do you think you are? So the first thing to do is when you think about who you think you are, think about the characteristics that describe who you are. A lot of times when you ask somebody if you say, "Who are you?" they won't tell you who they are. They will tell you what they do, right? So they will say, "Oh, you say, who are you? Oh, I'm a beautician. I'm a police officer. I'm a pastor. They'll tell you what they do, which doesn't tell you who they are, right? And so we are more than what we do. We are so complex, right? We are complex human beings. We have different relationships with different people. To somebody, we're a mother or father or parent. To somebody, we're a sister. To somebody, we're a brother. To somebody, we're an aunt or uncle. And all of those relationships are different. We comprise the history that comes with us, right? We are not just who we are today. There's so many things that have occurred in our lives. There's so many things that we've been exposed to, however long you've been on this earth, that has brought you to the place where you are and has created the person that you are, right? So there's so much more to the question of who I am than just the roles that you play in life, right? And so think about the characteristics that describe who you are. And as you think about that, as you think about who you are, what characteristics describe who you are, as you go through that process, thinking that through, think about, are you who you want to be? And if you're not who you want to be, if you are not, if there are characteristics that you wish to develop for yourself, to be a better version of yourself than you think you are, right? So that when you answer the question, who do you think you are, your thoughts are positive thoughts. Your thoughts are elevating thoughts. Your thoughts are thoughts that are going to propel you into a future that is meant for you. Your thoughts are going to guide you into your greater purpose. And remember, as you think about this, right? If you are somebody who is thinking negatively about yourself, if you're somebody who is thinking negatively about who you are, remember again, and I'm going to keep saying this, and I know I've said it a million times now in some of the past episodes, but there is a 1 in 40 trillion chance that you, as you, would be existing right now. 1 in 40 trillion. So that means that your creator meant for you to be here. You, you, just as you are, the beautiful person that you were created to be, you are meant to be here. You are not here by happenstance. You are very much intentionally placed on this earth. That means that you have purpose in you. That means that you are going places. But how you think about yourself can determine how far you will go. Because if you think that you're not worthy, if you think that you're not capable, if you think that you're not enough, then you won't be. And I want everybody who sees this to understand that you are enough, that you can fill in the blank, that you are capable, and that you are meant to be here. There's purpose for you. And as long as you are breathing, there is still purpose for you. There is still something for you to do. And there is still time for you to continue developing who you think you are. And so that you're no longer just thinking positively about who you are, but that you are indeed becoming the very thing that you desire, or the very person that you desire to be. I hope this is really resonating with somebody tonight. Oh, the author of that journal I was talking about said I can give it away. So the official Boss K, who also happens to be my daughter, has a dynamic journal coming out. So we'll be sharing that. I definitely will be sharing that on this platform. And I can't wait till she's at a place where, she's ready to sell it and to be on so many platforms talking about it, because it is definitely for minding the mental. So I can't wait to really be able to share that. So thanks, Kay, for for saying I can share it. I'm not gonna get a title yet because I don't think we're there yet. But oh, thank you, baby. Great word, she said. All right. It feels really good when somebody that who lived inside of you at some point um has, just encourages me. I love my children. They're all adults. They're all out, on their own, doing their thing. Kayla's just celebrated a birthday, her 24th birthday last week on the 12th. And, so thank you, baby. I appreciate, it helps me to appreciate who I am when my children can say that, that they think I did okay. I know I wasn't perfect and I'm not perfect, but I know that they really appreciate who I am, and I appreciate you for it. All right, so we're talking about, who do you think you are? So ask yourself that question. Assess what are your characteristics? What are the characteristics that make you you? And do you like that? Do you like who you are? Do you like you being you? And if not, what characteristics do you need to develop to get to the place where you can be who you want to be? How will you develop those characteristics? What are you saying to yourself about yourself? What self-talk are you saying to yourself about yourself? Um, and be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. Nobody is perfect, right? We've all made mistakes. We've all, had errors and that we've made in our lives. But as long as we learn from those mistakes and we carry those lessons in front of us and ahead of us, as long as we do that, then hey, we ought to give ourselves some grace. We ought to pat ourselves on the back and say, you know what, girl, you done good. All right. You got to do that sometimes, because you can't wait for everybody else to pat you on the back, because sometimes that pat ain't gonna happen. You got to look at yourself. You got to encourage yourself sometimes and say, you know what? I know I'm not perfect. I know that I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. And I'm gonna give myself some grace, and I'm gonna appreciate and be grateful for where I am right now, where I stand right now, because I am standing on an even firmer foundation for myself than I was back then. And this is only going to propel me into the future that I desire to have. So be kind to yourself. So I have some self-work that I want you to do. And I want you to take it seriously, write it down. I want you to create 3 statements. So the first statement is a statement of who you are. Who do you think you are? Write that statement out. Remember, it's not what you do, but it is who you are. How do you view yourself? Right? The second statement is, who do you want to be? And that's more of a vision statement. What vision do you have of yourself? Um, and understand that your vision of yourself can change, and that's okay. The vision that I had of myself, where like my younger self, my like 15-year-old self, looking into the future at 55, um, I, I had a totally different view of who I would be and what I'd be at 55 when I was 15. And now that I'm at 55, um, am I where I necessarily want to be? I'm not, but I'm still striving, because guess what? We are going to be, as Michelle Obama said in her book, Becoming, like, we are going to be becoming. until we take our last breath, right? We're going to continue to evolve. Um, and so evolution is good. It's a good thing, right? Because you're not going to always be who you thought you were going to be. Your vision of yourself might change. So, but today, as you are right now, what is your vision of yourself, of who you want to be? And then the third statement is, how will you get there? And that can be the toughest statement. That piece, that how do I achieve being who I want to be? How will I get to where I want to be, or who I want to be? How will I get there? Okay, so here's a sample in case you're I just this is not a this is a sample of what answering the question of who do you think you are might sound like. So I am a God-fearing follower of Jesus Christ who desires to live on purpose and for the purposes of serving Christ by sharing love and light with humanity. So that was just an example that of a who I am statement as opposed to a what I do statement. All right. So all right. So I'm going to wrap up here. And I thank you all, those of you who tuned in live, those of you that are tuning in, if you're watching the replay, I hope that this has been beneficial to you. And I want you to really think about what we talked about. Who do you think you are? And I pray that it's not even who you think you are, but I pray that you know that you are created in the image of God. I pray that you know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I pray that you know that you are worth it, whatever the it is. Um, I pray that you know that you are capable, that you can do it, whatever your it is, that you can succeed, whatever your definition of success is, you can. And as long as you're on this earth, continue becoming. All right. So God bless each and every one of you. I will see you next week, next Monday, right here, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live and IG Live on Mind the Mental Monday. Remember to mind your mental every day. God bless and good night, everybody. Sure.